A very warm welcome back to Aurora's Canvas. Thank you so much for your support so far. The channel is doing pretty great and I'm really liking the messages I'm receiving on Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook, wherever. Any of you who wants to connect directly to me, link of Instagram is in the description. You can send in the messages and I can respond to them directly, or if required I will come back and make a video over the topics or the questions that you have. I am really thankful for the contribution that you have made to not mine but your own channel. Aurora's Canvas is a channel which runs, and it is not just for my viewers, it is run by my viewers. You guys tell me what are the problems you're facing. Many of my friends over the years have shared their experiences, and that is why today I'm able to make the content for you. Most of it comes from people I already know, so don't be surprised that you find, oh my god, this is an experience I shared with them. Yes, it's from the reading I've done and the experiences that I've had with most of the people I know or I just got a conversation with. So moving on for today. Today we're going to talk about a dark emotion, which is sadness. Sadness is again of two types. Like I talked about happiness, virtual happiness and real happiness. I'm not going to say this sadness is virtual, but it is somewhat self-generated. Somewhat this kind of sadness is because of how you perceive things. Your perception is making you sad. What kind of sadness it is? There are 7 categories that I divide sadness into. The first category is disadvantage. When you compare the amount of resources or the amount of chances you have to success at anything in comparison with the amount of chances that some other person has compared to the other person. Like Lord Krishna very rightly suggested in the Bhagavad Gita, that a human is not sad because of his own sorrow. He is sad because of somebody else's joy or the advantage somebody else has. So disadvantage, the first prime category of sadness, is in comparison with the conditions and resources when a human compares himself to another person. Now, second category is loss. Loss is again a comparison to something you already had, some sort of resources you had access to. Now you have either nil or limited access to those resources. Now again you're sad because you're comparing, this time with your own past situation, your own history. The third category is again comparative, that is disappointment. Now here the comparison is weird, and this is extremely surprising, that the comparison is between what you expected, the comparison between what you imagined it to be and what it turns out to be. If that does not meet, you're disappointed, you feel sad, and I'm really very confident in saying at a lot of times I've seen people upset, sad because they were expecting unrealistic things. Especially you expect humans to behave like you want them to behave. You cannot expect a few things in this world. There are a few things that run on their own. So these 3 categories are based on expectations. These 3 categories are based on comparison. Now you really need to reconsider what you're comparing it with, or does it really have to be something that gives you deep dark emotions, or you're just exaggerating what you're going through. Maybe there is not even real reasons for you to be sad. If you really need just problems to solve, find out your problems, dedicate your energy to your growth, or just solve other people's problems. Why to exaggerate issues? Just because of these 3 things: disadvantage, disappointment, and loss. And now let's move on to the next 2 categories. We're not going to discuss these in details because despair and helplessness, the feeling of being disheartened, we've already covered in the second video of emotions, which was emotions dealing with being disheartened. So you can go back to the video and you can watch it. It's dealing with the emotional coronavirus, which is being disheartened. Now I'm going to move on to the deepest and the darkest part, the category number 6 and category number 7. The name of these categories is sorrow and grief. These are deep and dark sadnesses. These are real sadnesses. Grief and sorrow are actually caused at a very intense level, that they feel like a pin going through your heart, something devastating you totally from inside out, and leaves you in a condition of total helplessness, totally devastated. You have nothing to do but to cry. Such deep, dark pain is caused by either a loss of ability, maybe you lose your hand, maybe you lose your ability to do something, permanent disability, a disease or something. It can be caused by loss of reputation. And lastly, the darkest amount of sorrow is caused by the loss of life of a loved one. And this is the real this is the real sadness a human can go through, and a human is devastated when you lose a loved one, especially the loved one your entire life hovers around. Now, I've been through this emotion, so I can confidently say that even this emotion can be dealt with. You have to deal with this emotion as well, like every other emotion. You do not have an excuse to get dark into it and get depressed. You have to get out of it. How to deal with the emotion where you've lost a loved one? It's an irrecoverable, irreplaceable loss, but you still have to find reasons and deal with it. Dealing with it can be learned from Indian mothers. Just imagine a very important guest is coming to your place, and a mother has been cooking dinner from the morning itself. She's been preparing for the dessert. Now in the afternoon she started preparing for the main course, and in the later hours she started preparing some fast snacks, some sort of fast food for the snacks and starters whatsoever. And suddenly she realizes, to her surprise, that the dessert which she had been working on since morning, or maybe 2 or 3 days earlier she had some preparations in place, is burned out. That does not exist, and that is the dessert this human being was popular for. What does an Indian mother do? They'll go ahead and focus on the rest of the recipes. They'll create an alternative for the dessert. They'll focus on the rest of the recipes so hard that they are going to ensure that the dinner goes well. This dinner is your life, and that dessert is that most important center of this dinner, which is no longer available. And that's how you deal with it. Life goes on. Death is nothing more than, it's just like a Facebook account being deactivated. The rest, all the profiles work in the same way, just one account is missing. Have that realization, because even if that person whom you've lost is able to see you from a distance, from a different world, they also just want one thing: to live your life wonderfully. And that's all you need to do. Just look around yourself, what is left polished, whatever is left baki, whatever the main course or the starters, work harder on them, make them better, because eventually the target is to live your life gracefully, to have a good life, regardless of even the most important part of it is missing. This dinner is your life, and that dessert is the most important person of your life. Even if that is lost, you still have to make sure the dinner goes well, you live your life wonderfully. I'm going to be honest with you, the pain which you have from loss of life of the loved one is never going to leave. It's never going to leave. It's always going to be in there somewhere. But the thing that I can assure you of, that this pain would be bearable in some time, and when some more time passes, you'll be focused on the other areas of your life, and now you'll be looking forward to living a remarkable life as you've always thought of. And the only thing that I'm going to be very confident about, that this pain is never going to go, so don't even try to escape out of it. Don't try to go into alcohol, depression, drugs. Nothing's going to work. This pain does not go. You can just ignore it, but you can't get rid of it. So this is always going to be there. So why not just welcome it, give it a small portion of your heart. It's always going to stay in there. It's never going to leave you. Just going to be bearable with time, and it's just going to be a painful memory that you have to live with. But firstly, you're going to be in immense pain. You'll not know anything what to do. Just deal with that pain. Move on to the second step. This pain becomes a little bearable. Start focusing on the rest of the items of the dinner, maybe the main course. The rest parts of your life, your career, maybe something else. You can focus on anything you want to focus on after that. And eventually, this is going to come to a stage where you're going to be able to have this part in a little portion of your heart. Don't try to get rid of it. It's always going to be there. This pain is unavoidable. So the only thing that I'm going to suggest is learn the process and focus on the rest parts of your life. And accept the pain. Pain demands to be felt. Do not say I don't feel you, because it will tell you how you feel it. So the only two categories of sadness that are real and you have to deal with it in a certain pattern is sorrow and grief. Rest, 5 categories. I am sorry to say the first 3 can be dealt with the right mindset. If you have the right mindset, you'll never ever have problems with those feelings like disadvantage, disappointment, or small losses of your life. Disheartened and helplessness has been dealt with in another video. Even that does not need so much of focus. You just need to change your mindset and look forward. But grief and the feeling of sorrow does not get dealt that way. You cannot deal it with mindset. The only thing is accepting the pain and moving on. That was it for today's video. That's it about sadness that I'm going to tell you. Stay tuned to the channel. We're coming in with more videos. You know the rest of the routine. Hit the like button. Leave your feedback in the comments. Leave your feedback in any other way you've dealt with stress. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. The bell icon's right next to it. Click it so you get the notifications. And stay tuned to the channel. Follow me on the Instagram page so you can ask me the queries directly. We can have one-to-one sessions. Thank you very much for today. Stay tuned to the channel. Bye-bye.